I'm sorry, you said slide.
I said, woman.
Don't y'all start. Don't start.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you said something to me?
Y'all act like an old married couple.
No, we don't.
See,
He acts like an annoying little brother.
Yeah.
Same thing.
You know, who you just look at your mom and daddy like. you really you know how to stop at perfection. You know how to stop with a good thing. You gonna
Did she
keep
say
it going.
at perfection?
You heard it.
Wow.
You heard it. Good morning. Good morning.
Top of the morning.
Yeah, what's happening, family? Welcome to the show this morning. It's Michelle Bryant here at WNOV 860 AM 106.5 FM. What's happening, Debo? How you doing today, sir?
I am great, Michelle, and yourself.
I'm good. I'm even
So you
better.
brought the rain with you.
You know what? All I'm saying is a week ago, the grass was still gray. And I looked up and now it's daisies all in the yard. I'm like, okay, I need
Won't he do
it?
That's all I got to say.
That April showers bring May flowers is real. Good morning, Mr. Rideout. How are you today, sir?
Well, I'm doing great.
That's good. That's
On
good.
this
No
rainy
whining this
Thursday.
morning. It's always a good start. No crying this morning.
Oh, I'm crying.
So it's a good start.
Mhm.
You're gonna man up this morning and not
See.
be a baby.
See.
That's all a good start.
See, well, you know what?
What?
I
Hey,
wanna say
Alex,
this.
how you
You
doing?
couldn't
this
just
morning?
leave well enough alone, could you?
No, man.
Here it come.
Here it come. I want to say this.
What?
I want to thank my colleague over here,
Who? Your
Mr.
colleague?
Debo.
Really? Why?
Oh boy, you finna light me up.
Nah,
coming.
man.
It's
I'm
coming.
I'm gonna wait till next week.
What we thanking him for?
I just want to thank him for this hat right here.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, man, it's Ike hat.
Ain't no Ike. Trust me, it's not an Ike.
No. This the real deal.
That's a nice one
And,
for the
uh,
summer.
and it's a nice one.
I should have got.
I'm gonna say
Oh,
appreciate
I gave you
it.
the wrong one, Michelle?
Yeah, I'm about to take
Oh,
that.
you want
one.
this one?
Nah, I like that one. Like I said, I like that one. I got the black one like that one.
Yeah, well.
Yeah,
you
Debo
know.
came here like
And he
hooking
looked
folks up this
Well,
morning.
gifts.
Well, he really did that because he knew he was on the list.
Let me see the back of that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he knew he was on the list.
No, I wasn't on no list.
Why you got to be on the list, man?
Oh yeah, well, you know, all of them
I
jokes.
told you about holding grudges. Bro.
Oh
You
yeah,
gotta
I
learn to
hold
let
them.
go.
I hold them and let it build. Like
you
no, I
gotta
let
learn
it
to
build.
go.
And then when I release it, it's gonna be a
It's-
whole.
You gotta learn to let it.
It's gonna be a whole train wreck.
No, you
Okay.
come on now.
Just don't bring up nothing about no relationships.
No, I wouldn't dare.
It goes all the way to the. I was in a
cut below the belt. No, but no, I just want to say appreciate you, man. Thank you for that.
Goes without saying, man. Just sometimes you gotta let folks know how you feel about them.
I appreciate it.
That even when we're not here, I think like you guys.
You know what?
Yeah,
Anyway,
I know. I be thinking
Anyway.
about him when I'm not here because I be thinking about jokes. Like that I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
piling up my jokes.
Yeah, I knew there was a catch to yours.
The catch 22.
really, I'm thinking about my jokes.
Yeah, think about my jokes.
Well, no, I'm appreciative because I don't have a white Nike cap. Well, all the caps I got, I don't have a white Nike one, and so that's fly. I'm gonna be looking super good. I already know, so I appreciate you.
You're welcome. You guys
No.
are welcome.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say too, man, I'm gonna let y'all know, man. I decided that I'm gonna go underneath the water again, man. I'm gonna get baptized. No, seriously.
You need it. If anybody needed you, need
I'm
it.
gonna go underneath the water, so I'm gonna let y'all know because I want y'all to come see me.
Who gonna baptize you? Who you gonna let baptize you?
I'll let you know.
Well, we got some bishops coming in this morning.
Really?
Yeah, they're coming in at 9 o'clock hour with Keith.
Amen.
Talk
God
about
bless you.
talk about the men who care.
No, I don't want none of them to do
Well, wait, we got Bishop Sheard coming in, Bishop Hines.
Oh, Durham?
Yeah, I don't know that's who's coming this morning. We got some elders and bishops that are going to be in town in the coming week.
Oh, okay.
How you gonna say you don't want none of them to do it, but you didn't know who was coming? Should you have waited
I probably
to
should have.
see who was coming?
This is why I say he need baptized.
Yeah. I think I'm
And-
gonna
I
stand
don't
out.
want none of them to do
And
it.
how many times do you have to go under the water before it
You ain't supposed to go but one time,
That's
right?
what
But
I
this is the
thought.
thing, though.
Why you gotta
I can't recall me ever going under the water.
call your mama? She know.
I'm sure they know, but
You're just gonna take it upon yourself to get baptized
yeah,
again.
you know, in my elder
Oh,
years, instead of standing outside in the rain under the water, I figured I'd let them push me underneath.
no, some other stuff have to happen.
yeah, supposed to. Before the baptism, there's supposed to be some other situations that get resolved.
Just take me to.
Yeah, Doc, just
No.
go on and throw me
Don't
underneath.
come in
bro.
and take me to the water.
Yeah.
You're supposed to change some other situations first. Then you go to the water.
Listen, man,
Change your ways.
I'm trying to do
I mean,
right.
it just seems like this is out of order.
Yeah, it's something's out of place here.
Literally out of order.
I'm
I'm
with
just
y'all.
saying.
I don't
listen,
think you get the water first and then I don't know.
well, I heard
My
if you
mama
go
took care of
down.
it for me when I was 11, so I'm good.
Well, I heard if you go down as a dry devil, you can come up as a wet devil.
Yeah, I hear that all the time.
However,
I think does Keith say that? Somebody
Yeah,
said
Keith,
Somebody
I've
said-
heard
Yeah.
Keith use that one.
yeah.
however, I figured I've been rained on so many times. So I know what it's like to be a wet devil. I don't want to be a devil no more. I just want to be
Well,
wet.
you know what you need help.
You want to be saved?
You need help. I lie. You need
Is
help.
this an altar call?
Keith, where you at, man? Come on, call in,
You-
man.
You may not want Keith. To
Oh,
No,
yeah.
you showed that one here.
The doors of the
Yo-
church is open.
Your soul will be left hanging messing with Keith.
Sometimes I'm like Keon. I'm not sure he's a Christian.
Keith ain't about to save you.
Keith gonna be like, you sure? Now, you sure? Throw them thumbs up.
Keith ain't about to save you, bro. I'm saying you got a better chance to get saved by me.
Oh,
That's
no.
what Keith-
Oh, I'm really.
Hey, I'm just telling
Hey,
you.
man, if I had you do it, I'm
Keith-
going to hell gasoline draw.
I don't know why. I don't do anything bad. Like, so why would you? I mean,
What you talking about, Willis?
I don't.
Listen,
I don't. One of
You
the
don't do
coolest,
anything
chillest,
bad.
nicest
baptized in
people
eternal
you
fire.
will ever
Shed so
meet.
many tears.
Hey,
Get your
you
Tupac
know,
verse on messing with you.
Well, moving on.
I just
And
wanted the
now
people
in
to
the
know.
news,
I want the people to know that.
and now in today's
I
news,
want everybody from A&J Liquor to come on to my baptism.
Man.
No, dude, I'm
uh,
serious though, but I'm gonna let y'all know.
Okay, well, let me know.
She said,
Hey. I just hung up from a caller said they saw your portrait over there, not picture, a portrait.
Look, that was like Donald Trump telling people when they asked him about, I don't even know why, the reporter, just being stupid, asked Donald Trump about the Pope. And he said about who's going to replace the Pope. And Donald Trump said something like, maybe I could be the Pope.
oh my God.
Really?
Yeah.
He said,
And then Lindsey Graham comes out and makes a post. Oh, it would be great to have a U.S. president / Pope. I mean, think of the possibilities. Don't be close to it. I'm like, why would y'all even play like that? Why would you even
Are you
play like that?
serious?
Yeah. And the thing for Donald Trump, half the time, 98% of the time, he's not playing.
yeah,
He's so stupid.
yeah,
He's not playing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you all, and I'm just talking right now, but if any of you all had an opportunity to see like news snippets of this meeting he had with all of his cabinet members.
Yes, I saw that yesterday.
First of all, the lily whiteness of it all.
Yeah, it
the
was
lily
crazy.
whiteness
Yeah.
of it all.
I saw that.
You
I
know,
saw that.
outside of Rubio, and I think I saw 2 women. Like, I didn't even see the brother. I'm sure he was somewhere in the corner, you know, serving coffee and shit. But the brother over hood. But I mean, just the whitest white room that in no way reflects what this country looks like. You know, and that's that part. That was number one. I'm gonna get to the obvious, but the number one was, again, all these black people that support this dude that don't have no problem not seeing yourself reflected in leadership roles. Which makes me, I'm gonna have to go to this boy over on Sirius XM. He really be saying stuff that irritate me. That sits on he's on Sirius XM with car.
You talking about Joe Rogan?
No, it's a brother. It's a
Oh,
brother.
it's a brother.
They subbing in Joe Madison's seat until they, I guess, figure out what they're gonna do for real over there. And he said something today about Shador and the football league, and I just got made a note. I want to say something, but but the okay, so that's the one. The lack of representation, and that it in any way, like Trump lets people know every day, he don't think black people are smart enough or worthy to be in any of these roles. Every day. Every day. He let people know. You Negroes can entertain us. You can play sports. You can mop the, I don't even think he trusts them to mop the White House no more. Like, you can't be in this room. And there are folks saying, that's okay, I ain't got to be in the room because I trust him to make decisions on my behalf. Okay, master. But then the second part is all of these people that know he is so fragile that they all have to give an enormous amount of compliments, and you're the greatest, and you've assembled the greatest team ever for U.S. president, and behind kiss, behind kiss, behind kiss, because they know that the leader of the free world is a punk, is weak, is Jermaine always be saying, snowflake. This dude is so soft and so pathetic that these people have to say all of this stuff to lift up Makeup Man with the hair tape. They gotta, like, I have never seen any mess like this. I remembered it from his last administration. And Pam Bondi is disgusting. The United States Attorney General, she's disgusting. Because you don't have the ability to honestly see things clearly and fairly. And somebody like that being over DOJ is scary. It's scary. Somebody said, did I see the first few minutes? I didn't. I just happened to catch some of it.
So I know he was talking about, unless stuff coming over from China, because he was like some of the stuff that we don't need. But what caught my attention, he was like, well, kids might go from $30 to about $2. And when the $2 might be a little bit more expensive, but that's okay. So, what?
Because first of all, rich La La Land world people, how many kids is getting $30 for Christmas? Like that's just number one. And you can wait out the tariffs because you got the bread to wait out the tariffs.
Exactly.
And the type of businesses that you run may not necessarily be impacted. But we got a Milwaukee train company, model train company here, who is saying the majority of our product, if not all of it, comes from China. So y'all beefing with China, which means we get no inventory. Lakeisha was at the car lot yesterday, at the dealership yesterday, picking up the car, and they told, she was walking around, and you could see the vehicles that said tariff free, because they had come in and were already on the, already in the inventory before these tariffs started being applied. So when you tell people, what did he say? Something to the man like, I'm in a less of a hurry than you are to resolve this with China.
Of course he is.
You got the luxury of being in less of a hurry.
And that's selfish.
Hell, we paying your light bill at the White House.
That's selfish.
We paying for you to be able to sit back and kick it. Your health care, your insurance, everything that you got, we pay for. So I was so outdone by this dude yesterday, but I didn't know what was more pathetic, which is how out of touch he is with what's happening to American workers. And then this whole piece that's really irritating me, and I know people in Wisconsin, y'all can get mad, but the United States government messes up the economy in a way that it hurts Wisconsin farmers. I mean, farmers all over the country, but I'm just going to say Wisconsin farmers. Then they talk about, we'll go and basically come up with a ability, a program to backfill the money these farmers are losing. Well, that ought to apply to everybody then. No harm, no disrespect. But why are we going to save farmers and not save the Milwaukee Model Train Company? Why are we going to save farmers and not save AmeriCorps? Why are we going to save farmers and not save, well, that's a different, not the AmeriCorps example. That's not a good one. But anybody that's being impacted by the tariffs and, these deals that have not been struck, none of these deals have been struck with any of these countries other than you figuring out how to strong arm Ukraine to get their minerals. So much you need to pay us back for the money we've lent you to fight off Russia. But you just sit there and go, so why are we bailing out them and not bailing out them and not bailing out them and not helping these people? Because it's all selective. And I watched the farmers who gingerly spoke, because all of them most likely, well, that's not fair. Many of them voted for Donald Trump. You could tell. You could tell during the interviews that I've seen on the news, because they're very careful and cautious about how they spoke. Well, we hope things turn around. This does have the possibility to hurt us. We really need some help. La, 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 la. Not going to talk too aggressive because somebody from the Trump administration might be listening. But boss, sir, if you could help us, we sure appreciate you. Even though I voted to put you in office. I'm just saying. So that was just a side note. I didn't plan to talk about it in that way. Could definitely give more, backstory and detail. But when I tell you, it was disgusting to watch that you got a bunch of flunkies. Like, one of the things that makes leaders great is the ability to put people around them that will tell them the truth, that will give them the straight information, that will, hey, bruh, hey, sis, you about to make a wrong move, and this is why. Now, at the end of the day, this is your decision. But let me tell you why this is problematic. People that are good leaders understand that they inherently have flaws, that I'm not perfect. That's why I put together a team that's cold. This man just want people that's going to sign off on his madness and help him figure out how to execute it. Except for that, group that's manipulating him and putting, policy in front of him that he's following up on. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, Wiley Coyote, genius extraordinaire. You see how he done eased up close to Michigan over there. Michigan is the fastest way to get production going with all the car manufacturers. Therefore, that's going to be one about what you mentioned about the tariff situation, tariff-free. Now, those cars, because the dyes and everything is already robotic and already automated for the future. And he done eased up to that governor, what is her name, Whitmer or whatever that female is.
Yeah, Whitmer.
And slow as it's coming. At one point in time, I heard that Wisconsin was supposed, if anything goes wrong in the United States, would be the White House of the United States. And we just hooked up with that field office out there, with the FBI office and stuff like that. So Wiley Coyote, over and out.
All right, thank you. I mean,
the immigration office
right,
that was supposed to open by near your home.
Right, on Northwest side. I'm gonna say this: all of these companies have made it crystal clear. It is not going to be easy to ramp up and bring back to the U.S. a lot of the manufacturing operations that are now being outsourced. When they talk about in the auto industry, car parts can cross the border 5 to 6 times before that car is actually assembled. 5 to 6 times. I do this piece of it and then I send it to this place. They do this other piece. They send it back. I mean, like literally. And there's a great interview with Aaron Burnett on CNN when one of the car company executives talked about how tariffs have impacted the industry and what this looks like. But other companies have said, no, number one, you got to upskill workers in America to be ready to roll. That's going to take time. Number two, to get these facilities in place, it can take years to put some of this stuff in place. And you don't have the manpower ready to go to be able to fulfill these obligations. Like one of the things that we have seen, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was
Go
going to
ahead.
say, I was going to piggyback off of what you were saying, but it even gets even deeper than that because those shipments that's coming into the port, those truck drivers that go pick that stuff up now, by those tariffs being on and they're not coming in and things like that, it it's a domino effect. It's going to affect the truck drivers. Now it's going to start the layoffs with them because the employers is not going to be able to keep the employees on paid um, salaries and things like that if there's no money coming in, if they're not doing the pickups and things like that from the loads. So if they turning ships around and things like that and they not coming in, it's going to affect everybody. It's just a matter of time.
No, I mean, that's number one on the current situation. That's one thing they already talking about. It's been all over the news. They alerting people. A couple of things. That's why the big CEOs of Target, Walmart, Home Depot all met with Trump recently to say, hey, look here, fam. I don't think you understand how this whole thing works,
Right.
but the stuff that's on our shelves right now and what we got sitting in bays in terms of inventory, once that stuff runs out, even if you and China get this figured out in the next 30 days,
Mm-hmm.
the amount of time that it takes to get that stuff brought over
Yeah.
and then dispersed to our stores, we could have empty store shelves, even if all things line up and go exactly as you'd like to see them. You've already created a problem that eventually is going to make its way to American, shelves in these stores. You already created a problem.
Yeah.
Even if you magically overnight can snap your finger and everything, falls into place, the damage has been done on some of this already.
Yeah.
And so to your point about the truckers, if there's no product coming in, there's nothing for me to pick up.
Exactly.
Trucks not moving, we laying people off.
So how are we gonna feed our families and eat?
Right. You laying people off. So that's very real. On the flip side, if you do bring manufacturing back to the States, what kind of runs are these then? This becomes much more localized. And will you still need the same strength in terms of trucking that we have right now? Don't know. But all of it is up in the air. I just need lay people to understand. And when you start talking about shifting manufacturing from overseas to America, in many instances, this can take 3 to 10 years to get everything because of equipment, finding space, where you're going to build these facilities, having the money to tool in America. The cost of doing business in America is significantly different than the cost of doing business in these other countries. Regulatory rules that are very, very different. Our OSHA, safety, and that's why Trump is gutting a lot of the government too, because you're getting rid of a lot of the oversight, the checks and balances on these companies and corporations. But the other part of it, which just lends to how Fred Flintstone this dude is, and many of his supporters, like the folks talking about bring, coal back or bring this or do this, like y'all, automation is real. I don't have to have 30 folks standing on the line no more. I don't. I said when we was on the college tour, Grubhub and different food companies was delivering food to the college campuses. Then robots was bringing the food up onto the yard and over to the student, center or wherever there was the destination point, and the kids got their food out of the box on the robot. Two people I know have gone into restaurants now and been waited on by a robot. They placed they order using the QR code for the restaurant, and the robot brought the food out, not a person. So, to be honest about what automation is also going to look like for people, I'm just telling you, this is not an easy feat. And now he, like when he told people he was going to have the Ukraine war worked out, he was like, "Oh, I was just kidding. I'm gonna have this done on day one. I'm gonna have this done in 30 days. Oh, now I'm just kidding." No, you was just lying. But again, why we thought, and I mean we metaphorically, because not literally, but why so many Americans thought that somebody who was irresponsible in their own business to the point that they had to have 6 bankruptcy filings. Y'all know my speech. Who also himself had his products manufactured outside of the United States. Like, why would we think this dude would be great to lead the country? Your own house wasn't in order. Let me take a break. I'll be right back.
Now, back to Say Something Real with your host, Michelle Bryant on WNOV.
All right, family, welcome back. So I got a caller. Let me get them in before I get to a couple of other topics. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Man, happy Vaseline Day, Milwaukee, because I see it's raining, fam.
It is.
Well, I ain't got them ain't my issues right now.
You know what? Don't call here
Can't
rubbing
stand
it in.
that dude.
He always, always want to rub it in.
No, I don't. No, I don't, because y'all asking goofy questions, but then you don't want to hear it.
Wait, that ain't this show. Let's be clear. That ain't this show. But go ahead with your comment or your observation. What's up?
What? I done forgot. Oh, yeah. Let me back to here. Let me tell you, man, about the robots. We got Amazon dropping packages off through the drones now. We got those, and Walmart too.
Yeah, I saw some of that down in Georgia. So just
they
really
dropping them off, but then also too, I seen where like something malfunctioned and that thing. It looks small in the air, but that thing is really big. That thing fell in somebody's backyard. It looked like a UFO. It was so big.
Really?
Yeah, that thing is like, I'm gonna say half of a car at least.
Whoa! What? I didn't think they were that big.
Are they that big? Well, you gotta imagine people ordering what? Shoot, even if you order a box of two or three lotions, you gotta have cushion and everything in it, and how big the box gotta be.
So they just drop it out the air?
They
it's a drone.
They lower it down, right?
Then.
Yeah, they lower it down and just drop it.
So just imagine you outside walking and one of those things malfunction and fall on you.
Hey, listen, the thing is big. I'm telling you, when the Migos
carry packages under 5 pounds.
I ain't trying to hear that.
You think they bigger?
Yeah, I ain't trying to hear that.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna send a video to Write Out, and then he gonna tell me what's out. You can do that later, but I'm gonna send it to Write Out, and you can be like, that thing. It took 2 or 3 Migos to pick that thing up.
Okay. 2 or 3 what?
You heard him.
He said 2 or 3 Migos.
You hear
what I said. You know who.
How many amigos was it?
That was about 3 amigos, man.
Hey, no, Right Out. It was 2 o 3.
Oh, 2 o 3, man.
Yeah, 2 o 3.
It might have been Pancho.
Really? Cracking yourself up.
Wait. One more before I go.
Okay.
And the package said A&J damn liquor.
Y'all got one out there in sunny Arizona?
No, I got
man, we expanded.
No, I had to get that. I had to get that special edition A&J liquor T-shirt. I had to drop it off. I was like, it came in the mail.
Thank you, bro.
I need to check.
Yourself up.
I need to check because there was 2 A&J liquors, and I know one of them sold. Let me make sure the other one ain't.
Hey, man, we going worldwide out here, man. We going worldwide.
You do what you got to do. Got
Make
some
sure
more
they get no
callers on
free
the line.
advertisement over there.
Let's get to the phone. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello? Hey, caller.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good, and I'm listening. And Michelle, I really appreciate you real much because you bring it to us.
Real much?
Most of the time, you have to look at these people. They just lie. I was just watching a little of the Trump mess last night, and he took up the whole show almost with his rant, just moaning and groaning. But and then you have Steve Bannon up there. He's the main leader. Him, the Heritage Foundation, Stephen Miller, a bunch of all of those people, the main leader into constructing this program that they're doing to us. And it looks like to me the main thing they want to do is get rid of people. Because if they're taking away all the funding from things that help us out, want to take your Medicare, Medicaid, all that stuff, they want people to die, the Narcan, all of that. They want people to die because of the automation. And it's real because down in Dallas, Texas, they say they have an automated McDonald's. I worked at Allen Bradley. They offshored the jobs. And before they offshored the jobs, mainly some of the stuff there was automated. Where people was on the line assembly, well, they had gotten it to the point you need one man to run the machine. So they offshored and outsourced the jobs. And so, and then I'm looking, like I said, I'm looking and thinking about, we're talking about how rich he is and his family. His daughter bought a $25 million plot of land. She built a house on it. Plus, she paid $40,000 a month just to lease the place, and we can't even, afford. Just say most rent is over $1,000 a month. And I said, these people is sucking the blood out of this country. And if these people don't wake up, they're going to be in real, real serious trouble because these people, they're rich people, they're making sure they get it. And they started reading about that ban, and he's running all over the world telling white people to kiss themselves up and down the arm. And so you know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make a white society out of America. And he's sending more people to different prisons, and he's giving the police complete immunity, the military, and all that stuff. So I really want to say that.
Thank you so much. And you said a whole bunch.
And another
thing, touch on some of it, but no, I mean, when you look at the proposals now on the table to send but to send illegal immigrants to Rwanda.
Yeah, Africa. Yeah,
Jesus,
I was just gonna say that.
No, not Africa. You gotta say Rwanda, because Rwanda is so jacked up. Yeah. The violence and the dysfunction in that country is so out of pocket. But to Rwanda, I forgot what the other country was. But the thing that they said, and even asylum seekers. So these are people who are trying to come and do the right thing. I'm seeking asylum in this country. Rather than deal with me, deny my application, and return me home, why would you send somebody to a country that's not their country?
And they don't even know how to navigate.
And because these countries are broke, if we waving money around, because that's the only reason Rwanda would be open. They can't feed the people that's in their country right now. So the only reason you're receptive to it is because I'm waving around some bread. But when Trump leaves office, unless Congress codifies this in the law, we're not going to be paying for them prisons. He ordering this on his own right now.
So what's going to happen to the people?
My point exactly. Because either I'm going to have to pay you a lump sum right now while I'm still in office that would satisfy you holding these people for 10, 15, 20 years. Or, there's no incentive for these countries to take these people if there's not money on the table. But how you send an asylum seeker, I am from Venezuela. I present at the border seeking asylum, which is what I'm supposed to do. Instead of dealing with me the correct way, you put me on a plane and send me to Rwanda?
What's the end game at the end of the day when you start looking at, okay, so you ship me over here and I'm in this prison. Do I have a MR date or anything?
Why am I in prison? I didn't do anything illegal. If I'm seeking asylum.
What's the end game?
You don't care though.
Yeah, there is. I'm done with you. I can say I got my numbers down. There is no end game.
They can't just hold me.
Why not?
Indefinitely.
There's money involved.
You being paid to.
And they don't even know.
And these are countries that don't have good ethics anyway.
So my question is, in line with what you were saying, okay, so let's say 4 years down the road, of course, there is no more Trump unless he figure out a way to get another term.
There won't be.
But my point is he's gone. The next president says, you know what? We're not doing that no more. Are these just people that's going to be released into the streets of wherever?
It would depend on how they negotiated the deal, because right now we know that Trump spent about $6 million. I think they said they had received $4 million so far for these people to be shipped to El Salvador. Mm-hmm. So did that $6 million cover 5 years of housing these people? Was it we gonna pay you a one-time fee of $6 million and then they just can come there for life until they die? We got to go back and read how these contracts were negotiated with El Salvador and potentially now with Rwanda and other countries about how they were laid out. That's the thing we don't know, because at $6 million for right now, we only sent 200, and I think we done sent about 240 people. I don't, in America, it costs about $120,000, $140,000 a year to house an inmate. That's what it costs in America.
But that's with salaries and all of that broken
I mean, yeah,
down
that's
into that
everything.
number?
That's food, staff, the
Right,
whole 9
right.
yards. I think they said it costs roughly about 120 to 140, depending on if it's a male or female inmate, to house someone in America.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's significantly cheaper in El Salvador, where they got 20 people in a cell, and they feed them slop, and they're not feeding them 3 times a day, and they don't have any of those other, nasty things like medical services and, all the kind of stuff that you are supposed to have humane treatment, even though somebody's incarcerated. I'm just saying that this is financially unsustainable. That's number one. But the idea that you would send somebody to a country who legally presented themselves, like I said, that young LGBTQ guy who had come to this, had an appointment with immigration, had an appointment, and he made it to the States for the appointment, to the border for the appointment. And when he showed up, they put him in prison. I'm doing it the way you asked me to do it, and you put me in prison. Like, what? Oh my God. So the number of things that the caller addressed is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And let me just say this, because she spoke about the money. Donald Trump Jr., this new club that they have co-founded in DC that is charging people $500,000 to be a member. And they said there's already a waiting list for this club. The club is called the Executive Branch. They had a launch party, I think last Saturday. Included a half dozen members of Trump's administration, as well as wealthy CEOs, tech founders, policy experts. It's going to officially open sometime this month. It's located in the Georgetown neighborhood of DC. But you just think about how many people have the ability to pay $500,000 a year to be a member of this club. Remember when he became president, when he was doing the transition period, he raised the fee at Mar-a-Lago, I think from $750,000 to $1 million to be a member, saying they were trying to weed out, the riffraff, I guess. So they're creating a world or a situation in this country where only the wealthy will truly have access and influence. And some folks may say, well, Michelle, it's already like that right now. Yes and no, because we have the ability to protest and raise our voices and get attention that way for issues that are important to us. But hey, we taking away your ability to do that, by coming up with all these crazy laws and policies about assembly and what a protest is and what a riot is. January 6th in Donald Trump's eyes was fine, but a group of Black Lives Matters protesters marching down Wisconsin Avenue, how can we figure out how to stop that? So she was right. Everything that we got on the table is crazy. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello?
Hey, Michelle, how you doing this
I'm
morning?
good. How are you doing this morning?
All right. Couple questions. One, I don't believe that Trump got in office by accident. I believe the powers be just like with Obama. It wasn't by accident. And the thing I can't understand is this here with Trump. He brings up a lot of stuff that he's always talking about Biden. He's always talking about old stuff. What is the importance of that? He's in office. Why is he so focused on things that Biden did or Obama done or anybody else? He's in office right now. And then again, a lot of people say they got voted for Obama. I mean, for Trump because he was a businessman. Well, okay, he's a businessman, but he's a failed businessman.
Right.
You know, I mean, bankruptcy, cheating people out of money or whatever, and then you know, as one talk show, one of your competitors, they always talk about they're talking about this guy sent back to El Salvador, you know, or whatever, and the judge, and she broke the law, this and that, and I'm like, to me, I look at it like, yeah, she broke the law, but she broke it in a way that she was standing up to something that she didn't agree with. It wasn't about the guy being guilty of this, that, and other. It's about due process.
Right.
Don't we supposed to have due process? But this guy, when you sit up and state things, first thing he wants to tell you is, we're not talking about that. Well, now you sound like Trump. You want to control the way people look at things. People are not looking at the nitty gritty of this situation. Everything Trump's doing, everything he touches his hands on, is about making him some money. Everybody said the man was a billionaire. I don't believe it. The man is a big hustler. He got things set up. Everybody's making his money, and that's why he's not going down. It's not that people are scared of Trump. And not only that, the FCC, they was talking about that one time. Talk shows like yours, and he pulling the license because he don't want nobody to talk. It's crazy. And then the other thing is, I know I'm all over the board, are other countries that are under dictatorship, are they set up with a hierarchy of government like we have, federal, state, city, local, this, that, and other?
No.
No, okay.
No.
And one more thing. A fly, a mosquito, a rat. All these people are part, and I hope this is understandable. They're part of a food chain. People have to survive. People got to survive with black people and other people in our culture. So you send all the black people out of our country. What kind of effect would that take on the economy? Because you got 4 white people too, or uneducated white people. So what is the plan here, man? And then you still got these businesses building. I mean, look at downtown. Look at 53212 area. Look at these different areas that people are steady building places. Who going to live in them?
Yeah, no.
And how are we going to pay to live in them?
No, I got you. And I mean, let's be clear. And thank you, bro, for the call. But let's be clear. A lot of that is not designed for, just everyday lay people. Because number one, you got to have a certain amount of income to be able to get into some of these housings developments. And then if they do a market rate can be like $1,500 to $2,000, $2,500, depending on how big the space is, where it's located. So, I used to ask that question all the time. When you saw all these developments going in, particularly housing developments that were not geared towards working class, low income people. And I'm like, who's moving in? But these places are not empty. People are doing it. And now with remote work in some areas here to stay, people that work in Chicago but don't want to pay to live in Chicago can live in Milwaukee in an extremely nice apartment right by the freeway, right by the lake, half of what they was paying in Chicago, but still keep their job in Illinois because I work remote now. So that's one thing we saw. I noticed it when I was in Philly. People who had lived in New York, but because of the way jobs have changed so that people could work remotely, it was too expensive to continue to live in New York. They moved to Philly. But even some of them, they commute to New York every day, but they live in Philly now. So yeah, it's that people coming. You make no mistake about that. But no, other countries are not really set up in the way we are in terms of the political systems. The way we have like different delineations in lines of government and who does what. No, they're democratic countries, obviously, but they're not set up exactly like the U.S., which America's always called the Great Experiment. Like, make no mistake, it has always been called the Great Experiment. Let me switch gears for a second, though. When we talk about experiments and what people need to understand about the way we operate, we we have had to put certain things in place for a reason. I know that there are many people that listen to this station. Yesterday, Jermaine asked me a question about prayer when I was hosting my colleague Kwaku show. Um, and he said, "What? I'm a Osa. I'm I told you I can never say his name right. Oh, I'm Oasi. So, and you know that the show typically opens up with prayer. And you know, I said, okay, but I don't do that. And you know, but since I'm hosting somebody else's show, knock yourself out. And then Jermaine went further and said, so you know, do you not say a prayer before you eat? And I said, sometimes. But if I gotta tell the truth, the majority of the time I don't say, God, thank you for this meal. You know, if I'm just telling the truth. And then I went on to say, because it's no secret, I've been clear that I have certain struggles with religion as it is today. And I always ask the question, what did we do before slavery? And even the way religion has been used to control Black people. And something that Al always says when he calls here, we've been conditioned by mainstream America to be mistreated on earth and get our great life in heaven. You know, so we always like it's some Black people actually anticipating death because I get to walk around heaven with Jesus and the golden, you know, gates and the pearly this and the, you know, the excessive beauty and, you know, might as well say diamond paved roads. We get sold that. So it's no secret that I struggle with religion. And in fairness, I know I'm not the only one. Or I know that there are people that practice things that are very different from Christianity or very different from, you know, being a Baptist or Methodist or Protestant, Seventh-day Adventist, Muslim, Jewish, you know, Orthodox Jew. It's just religion is just a huge realm that you can be a part of. Okay. And so when we start talking about operating public spaces and using public money, we realize that you got to be careful what you do because I can't ask people who don't believe certain things to financially support those things. It's not fair. That's like saying, Michelle, you Black, but I want you to support the KKK. And if you don't, we're going to take that money out of your taxes so that the Grand Wizard of the Klan can have an office downtown Milwaukee. But I don't agree with that. Well, we using your money to do that. So before the U.S. Supreme Court is a case that's going to come up about a charter school that's an online school that has requested to be able to have taxpayer money be used to pay for tuition for their students. But it's a Catholic school. It's a school with a religious focus, leaning, ideology, doctrination. It's a specific religious school. And so the Supreme Court, their conservative majority, we all right? Their conservative majority has already been said that, depending on some stuff that was said yesterday, may be sympathetic to the Catholic Church's bid to create the nation's first religious charter school in Oklahoma, which would mean that we would see taxpayer money going to educate children in a religious school in a way that the framers really had not intended for public dollars. So the Chief Justice was silent on a lot of this. The case could end in a 4-4 tie. But there are 6 conservatives on the court. Okay. I got to take a break. But when I come back, I want to take a moment just to talk about the implications, because charter schools are still public schools. They have to take anyone, except we see some of these schools, they don't take kids with disabilities, particularly physical disabilities, if they feel they can't accommodate them. But we'll talk about that. But how do you feel about public money? See, that's why I told people when I said, should prayer be brought back in school? And folks even here at the radio station, yeah, of course. Well, whose prayer? Which prayer? Should the Bible be in the classroom like they're doing in one state? Well, I think that's good because it'll bring back morals. Which Bible? Which version? Whose Bible? And if I make up a Bible, will any Bible do? It has to be Trump's Bible. Let me take a break. I'll be right back.
back to Say Something Real with your host, Michelle Bryant, on WNOV.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. So I wanted to take a minute just to talk about this whole issue before the Supreme Court, whether or not we are going to allow public dollars to be used to pay for schools that have a religious ideology, like a Catholic school. The arguments that were made yesterday in court, you clearly could see some of the political divide, conservative justices appointed by Republicans, willing to, it seems, give more flexibility to using taxpayer dollars for religious influence in education versus the Democrats. And the thing that, and the reason why I raise this and bring it up is, so there are 5 different versions of the Bible, if you will. The Jewish version, Catholic Orthodox version, Orthodox, Ethiopian Orthodox, and the Protestant. Okay. There are between 4,200 and 10,000 religions practiced in the U.S. and abroad. All right. There will be religions that you do not agree with. Should public dollars be used to pay for that? So during the arguments, some of the things that came up, and this case is out of a school in Oklahoma. Brett Kavanaugh, this was the clip that was heard a lot on the news yesterday. All the religious school is saying is don't exclude us on account of our religion. The liberal justices, and I know they did, Ketanji Brown Jackson, they did her quote, which was great, and I'll look for it. But Sonia Sotomayor said, really what you're saying is the free exercise clause trumps the essence of the establishment clause. The essence of the establishment clause was we're not going to pay religious leaders to teach their religion. And that basically is what people are asking us to do. You teaching your religion to your children while you're also teaching them, regular academic K-12 information. Teach your stuff at your church. You want your child to have a Catholic upbringing, take them to a Catholic church. Public money should not be used. I, as Michelle Bryant, shouldn't be paying for your child's Catholic education. When I went, my mama paid for it. And if everybody can't afford it, I appreciate that. That means your parents need to get different kinds of jobs. And somebody said, well, Michelle, then that goes against what Polly Williams was saying about why we should have these other schools where, these poor Black kids are in failing public schools and they don't have no choice but to go there. That's a different conversation, because that means that I need to do something about the quality of education offered at these schools. So these children are not going, they're going to a school like any other school, but the school is underperforming. That's not the same thing as saying they specifically are seeking to go to a religious school, a private religious school. That's not what they saying. It's 2 different things. The U.S. Constitution prohibits the government from establishing a religion. So even though on our money it says in God we trust, and we got all these symbols in relationship to faith that we exercise in public, the Constitution prohibits the government from establishing a religion. It also does though say the government cannot prohibit people from freely exercising religion. And we're not. You can exercise whatever you want to in your own church, at your own house, in your own situation that you finance. You cannot take the public's money to exercise your religion. That's why, we pay attention if religious organizations start to, weigh over into political things and start trying to tell people who to vote for, all of that is there. There are clear lines. So the one justice, Amy Coney Barrett, has been recused from this case. So this is going to come down to Chief Justice Roberts and where he'll fall with this whole thing. But I'm going to tell people, continue to keep your eye on this. Continue to keep your eye on this. Because as a part of the arguments, one of the things that folks that are against this, that were arguing against this, was saying is that, hey, look, some of these kids won't have no choice then but to attend these types of schools in terms of religious schools. And Chief Justice Alito said, why? That's not true. And they said, oh, yeah. The example they gave was New Orleans. In New Orleans, the only public schools are actually charter schools. Half the public schools are charter schools in Denver and in Washington, D.C. If you got charter schools that can begin to do this, it changes the academic and educational landscape. So, and some people will be like, well, how? I'm going to tell you right now. What if this is the Muslim community coming forward and saying we want taxpayer dollars to be used to pay for a school that is a Muslim school, Muslim faith taught, adhered to in the school? People will lose their mind. Yeah, Islam. We want that taught. These same people that's talking about their Catholicism and their Christianity would lose their mind if they knew their money was going to pay for Islamic or Muslim education in a school. So keep your eye on it. The feeling is, though, is that some of these conservative justices are going to yield and let these people do this. That was back to my point I was making yesterday. We cannot assume everybody does what we do. And we can't push what we do on other people. And I know I've been in rooms, and it's not that I'm against saying prayers. I just know it's a time and a place. And I'm sitting in meetings of organizations that are not religious organizations. But because the people that run these organizations are people of faith and of a specific or particular faith, they want to open meetings with prayer. And I just sit there and shake my head, and I got tired of being the bad guy when I'm like, y'all ain't supposed to be doing that. I heard you laugh, but it's the truth. People would get mad at me, but I'm like, I don't or may not practice none of this, but you forcing me to sit here and listen to you do it. So if I force y'all to sit here and listen to what it is I practice, I'm going to pray my prayers. I'm going to say whatever my stuff is. Y'all will be mad. Why are we listening to that? We ain't Muslim. We not this. I ain't Jewish. Why I got to listen to the Jewish prayers at the opening of the NAACP meeting? Why I got to listen to the Jewish prayers at the opening of the Delta Sigma Theta meeting? Or the AKA meeting? Or the so-and-so meeting? Why I got to listen to that? I ain't Jewish. But you can have people sitting in the room that's like, I don't do religion the way you do religion. And you forcing me to sit here and listen to this prayer and be a part of this prayer. When you could simply say, we're going to take a moment of silence. Do what you want to in that moment before we begin our meeting. Get your head right. Get your prayer on. Get in the right space you need to be. But I'm not forcing nobody else to go through the prayer with me. People don't like it when I say it, but it's disrespectful because you assume that everybody does what you do. And even if there's a general consensus, everybody look around the room. You Christian, you Christian, you Christian, you Christian. Half of these people don't even go to damn church. You Christian, you Christian, you Christian. All right. because you don't want to be the person that don't look Christian, that don't really, pray before your meals. And so you embarrassed. So you say nothing because of peer pressure and you go along. This is that same conversation. And we not respectful of other people.
Is it that, and I'm just asking, is it that it's not being respectful to other people, or it gives you the option to either participate or not?
It's not an option.
It's not an option.
People just say, we're going to open the meeting with prayer. Everybody bow their heads. Lord Jesus, we want to help you.
But you don't have to bow your head, though.
Why do I have to hear it?
Close your ears.
Why do I have to hear it?
So, okay, so just playing devil's advocate, because I just want to hear how you feel about that. So if a white person or a Mexican or a Puerto Rican person comes to a black event and they open up the event with Lift Every Voice and Sing, and they choose
white folks were singing Lift Every Voice and Sing at the NFL draft.
I get it. Hold on, wait.
The majority of the choir at the NFL draft,
I get it.
was white.
I get it.
Singing Lift Every Voice and Sing.
I get it. But just on this reverse side, if they came to the event and that was the opening song and that they started off the event and everybody started singing and the white people chose not to sing.
First of all, I'm coming to a black event.
I get it.
I know that black people typically do the Black National Anthem at their events.
I get it.
So I understand that when I'm coming in the room.
But
these organizations are not religious organizations. So there's no expectation that I should think that I'm coming to your meeting and it's going to open with prayer.
I get it.
Go ahead.
I'm just playing devil's advocate now. Don't shoot me now.
I'm answering.
Okay. So with that happening and they come.
Caller, I see you. We coming.
And they chose not to sing. And I'm just asking because I just want to hear you. How would you feel?
I wouldn't care because they ain't black.
Okay.
I don't expect them to do it.
Okay. So if you're not a Christian, if you don't believe, there's no pressure for you to say the prayer. There's no pressure for you to even pray. You can talk during the prayer. Because that's what you choose to do.
The question is not whether or not I can ignore what's happening around me.
Okay.
The question is, should it be done in the first place in business meetings and things that are not religiously based? Should it be? That's the question.
Okay.
I know when I can get up and leave a room when they start praying.
Okay.
I can put my earbuds in. I could do a whole bunch of things. The question has to be, should it be done in the first place? Okay. Does it belong there?
Okay.
To the point of, should taxpayer money be used to pay for Christian education?
Okay.
Let me go to the phone line, get some other opinions in. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning.
Community. I think that also when you broke down the Christian, that I don't know if you've seen any of these monologues or any of these things from a white Christian nationalist where we don't count anyway.
Yes.
And so,
yes. Thank you for bringing that up.
We're just not part of the program. They supposedly follow Jesus, and I wonder what Jesus they've invented, because it don't sound like anyone that I've read about.
Jesus never mentioned Christian.
Right. And then the next thing is, that they just approved that they're going to allow all those white South Africans to immigrate to the U.S.
Yes.
So they got some replacement component. And then with the $5 million per green card, they're planning to figure out how they're going to replace somebody. And the third one for the Supreme Court is birthright citizenship. If they mess around and take out birthright citizenship or allow him to change that, we subject to be sent back to Africa too. Because, we all birthed in America for 400 years. Most of us have lineage and roots back. So if you let them have the ability to change birthright citizenship, all hell will break loose, excuse the expression.
Yeah, because you got to decide, if you are birthright but you're 4 generations in, you good, versus you 2 generations in, or you 1 generation in, like the 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, 4-year-old that was deported with their moms. So yeah, so like, am I grandfathered in because I'm a 3rd generation American or born in this country? You're right. You open a literal Pandora's box.
And now with that racist white nationalist Trump and his racist administration playing around with everything black, trying to eliminate the history, went into the museum in Washington, removed artifacts and stuff. So they're trying to change everything about our existence in America. And they're changing the history, changing the word, taking the pictures and all of the historical components down. And so when people say, I support Trump, then okay, you do. But guess what? You probably gonna go too. So because he's got a plot, whatever he wants to do, he makes sure he aligned himself with all the people who are gonna do it in his administration, and they're slowly wiping it out as they wipe out Head Start, all the things that have been benefits to poor and disadvantaged people, black and brown people. They're wiping it out, and so you start thinking about, well, where is this sending people? I don't know if it's to the fields or to somewhere, but it ain't sending them to prosperity.
All right. Thank you, Tyrone. It's good to hear from you too, bruh. Look, got another caller. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle. How are you?
Good.
This is Angela.
Hey, Angela, how you doing this morning?
Good morning, Mr. Rideout.
Good morning, Miss Angela.
Good morning, Mr. Debo.
He's not in the studio, Angela.
Oh, okay. Well, tell him I said good morning.
He hears you.
Okay, Miss Michelle.
Yes.
I want to just say, I'm not on your topic. I'll get to that, but I need to ask you about talking about this transportation MTM, because I'm affiliated with that, and the company is not doing what it's supposed to do, like getting us people to our appointments. Like today, I had an appointment for a CT scan because I have a tumor that needs to be looked at. And thank God yesterday, the mass they seen on my spine is benign. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes, ma'am.
So they are not getting us to our appointments. Like today, I missed my appointment. So I had to reschedule, but that's important to me. It may not be to them.
So what's the program you use, Angela? Is it like Milwaukee County Transit Plus or something? What's the program?
It's all right. It's MTM.
MTM.
It's with the medical card, with the forward card.
Okay.
Like I got Badger Care, so it's affiliated with that, but it's not doing what it's supposed to do. They got a virtual thing that you got to go through. It always messes up. It'll cut you off. Then you have to call back. It's like it needs to be talked about and fixed. You need to look into that, please.
You know what? I will do that. And the one thing I'm gonna also say is put the people to work whose job it is to look into it. You got a state representative, a state senator, and that's where these calls go, and the county, to figure out what's happening. So I did pull it up. MTM Health provides transportation services for people with disabilities through its non-emergency medical transportation. But I see all kinds of different stuff underneath them. So I'll look into it, but I'm gonna just tell you. Do you know who represents you?
Oh yeah,
So
okay,
so that's at the city level. Figure out who represents you at the state level as well.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Leave your number, Angela, with Debo, and I'll get your information so I can tell you who your representative is, because you can get people to help you with this. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right,
I appreciate your help.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back.
in News.
I'm Jamie Jackson. President Donald Trump is again escalating his criticism of the media, accusing CBS's 60 Minutes, its parent company Paramount, and the New York Times of conduct related to the 2024 election. In a lengthy post on Truth Social on Wednesday morning, Trump claimed 60 Minutes removed a damaging answer Vice President Kamala Harris gave during the campaign and replaced it with a different response from another part of the interview. He called it, quote, one of the most egregious illegalities in broadcast history, and said it amounted to fraud against the American public. Trump also blasted the New York Times for reporting that People considered the case baseless. He accused the paper of election interference and suggested it may face legal consequences. The Times reports that Paramount's board has shown interest in settling the case, which has reportedly caused friction inside CBS. The executive producer of 60 Minutes recently resigned. For AURA News, I'm Jamie Jackson.
Now, back to Say Something Real with your host, Michelle Bryant on WNOV.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. I'm going to shoot a text message to County Executive Crawley about the MTM program, too, so I can figure out who is the person that directly supervises this. This is not the first time I've heard the complaints. Second, have actually been personally impacted in terms of medical rides that Lakeisha's mom has had to have for doctor's visits. And, you know, you got a caregiver coming in to get people up, get them ready. And then the ride does not show. The ride does not happen. the ride gets there late and gets them to the appointment late. And then the hospital is like, you have exceeded your 15-minute grace period. So there have been a number of people that I have heard complain about some of these ride programs or ride, provider to get folks to these appointments. So I'm going to myself just go straight to the source and see if the county.
They sent you some information on that program.
Okay.
In your Facebook inbox.
Facebook inbox. Okay, I'll go check it. But I got a caller that's on the line, so let me get them in. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, Michelle, how's it going?
It's going, bro. How you doing today?
Not too bad. So
Good.
I agree. I definitely agree with you. We disagree on we obviously don't disagree on a lot. You just think we do.
Okay.
But I definitely agree. We have to get away from this part where we're gonna set this charter religious tone. Like you say, if this was the sheiks or the Muslims coming in, and even this satanic church, I don't know if you remember the case in Oklahoma where they were trying to have like the 10 Commandments there, and then the satanic church, which is not what you think it is. They say, oh, we need our commandments here as well. So then they were like, oh, well, yeah, my bad. We messed up on that. So we shouldn't do that. See,
Okay. Look,
but
okay.
real quick, Michelle, the guy that called in and said with the whole birthright citizenship thing,
Yeah.
I feel like this is where critical thinking comes in. If they change that, then they were end up shooting themselves in the foot. Because remember, most of them came from Ellis Island. Most of their members, their family lineage came from and met at Ellis Island to get here. So they would be shooting themselves in the foot if they tried to do that. And the guy thinking, oh, they're going to send us back to Africa. Remember, we were here before them. So how are you going to send us back to somewhere when we were here before you?
But I think that's why I said it is relative to whether or not people would be grandfathered in, so the bill becomes effective from this day forward. How would it work? Because, yeah, I could see them trying to pull some of it, but it would just be what, the devil's in the details. When does it take when is it enforceable? Who's impacted? Yeah, so everybody born in, that's a child of an illegal immigrant born in this country after May 1st, 2025, your birthright citizenship, can be questioned or challenged.
Right.
So it's possible to get it done, though, but yeah, no, they're not going to make it retroactive. Never going to do that. Because to your point, you wiping out the whole country if you make it retroactive. But what you will do is you'll, from this day forward, that's what you can do.
Right,
or if you make it retroactive, you only make it retroactive for the last 2-3 years, last 5 years. You could do it that way as well.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Thank you, bro.
Michelle, I'm gonna still text you that the link about this kind of sort of this whole situation.
Okay.
But I'll text it to you.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right.
And when he was talking, I did go look. The Satanic Temple, this was back from 2024, Oklahoma City. The Satanic Temple announced official plans Friday to participate in Oklahoma's release for religious instruction law for public school students. The law would take effect in November. Oklahoma State Department of Education superintendent reacted to the announcement. He said, I'm going to clear this up. No, the Satanists are not coming into our schools. Satanism is not a religion. We are, in fact, a religious organization, is what the satanic people said. We have been found to be such not only by the IRS, but a federal ruling has upheld that standing. So think about that. A federal ruling. Thank you, bro, for flagging that. And I remember the story now. A federal ruling determined, and the IRS, they met all the qualifications that determine what a religious group is. Now, it may be a religious group or a religion for bad, a religion, that we don't agree with, but let me see if I can find it real quick. What is the word? What characteristics constitute a religion in the U.S.? That's different. I gotta say it differently. So shared beliefs and practices, symbols, sense of the sacred. No strict legal definition, but the First Amendment protects religious freedoms, and you don't get to determine what the religion can be about. So that's that point I was making. I open the door and say, yep, public dollars can be used to pay for a Catholic school. If the satanic religion people wanted to have a school and they met all the qualifications, can we deny them they pot of money from the public? See, it's always good until you have to do what somebody else is doing. Like I said, let me go to a meeting and people start doing Jewish prayers, and I'm going to turn around and be like, what's happening up in here? Oh, this is the way we open the meeting. Yeah, but this is the NAACP meeting. Or this is the, I don't know, this the book club meeting. Yeah, but many of our members are Jewish. I'm not. Well, and it's a book club and it's open to the public. Like, why are we doing this? See, I'm telling you, it's always good until it's not what you do. It's always cool until it's not what you do. And y'all better pay attention to what these folks are trying to do. So with that, let me move. I have not talked about the lead issue in Milwaukee. Caller, I see you. I'm coming. I have not talked about the lead issue in Milwaukee because I don't want to. Because I'm just gonna get mad. Like, I'm gonna get frustrated, and because everybody has dropped the ball on so many levels. Jesus, everybody. I want to say everybody, because whether or not we talk about what our lead abatement programs have or have not been, how under Tom Barrett's leadership, it just didn't seem like it was a whole hell of a lot of urgency to deal with lead. The Common Council, to me, not pushing as hard as they could have over the years to deal with lead. NPS hiring inadequate people, then making funding cuts and wiping out, the staff that would have helped to deal with lead abatement or lead issues in schools. The way Bevan Baker got scapegoated because these women or these caseworkers wasn't doing their damn job when they were supposed to be checking on these babies, who presented with lead poisoning. So we gonna fire the black man and let Tom Barrett and them hang, put a noose around Bevan Baker's neck because it was all that Negro's fault. Even though that's not who was going out and supposed to be doing these field visits and coming up with plans. And yes, it's everybody's fault. Now the federal government, we ain't giving. Biden wanted to help y'all, with the lead. We're going to reduce the amount of time from 70 years to get rid of all the lead pipes or whatever it was, 30, 40 years, down to maybe 10. Now maybe we can get it done in 5, everybody. And then, Trump comes in and says, that's not a priority. That's not how we move America forward, by making sure that kids are not getting poisoned at their schools and in their communities. It's not a priority. It's not a priority. So I don't even want to talk about lead. I really don't. Because I have been a part of these conversations for years. And I've watched on every level of government, to some degree, a lack of urgency on fixing this mess. I've watched it, and I've watched different people be scapegoated. And, NPS sending that man from the facilities out to stand and do a damn press conference all by himself. Administrators at NPS was hiding. That man ain't never did a press conference. Let me stop hollering. That man has never done a press conference before in his life. You knew that the NPS school board and the NPS administration was setting that man up to take the fall. And po thing, like a deer in headlights, he's standing out there trying to answer questions he's ill-equipped to answer. When is NPS ever gonna let me just go out and stand by myself and be the spokesperson for the district? So somebody said, Michelle, you ain't gonna talk about it? Man, I can't right now. Cause I'm just gonna get mad. Because it's a hot mess. The way this has been done over years. And I'm not saying people have not been doing some work. I'm not saying that there has not been a little bit of progress. I'm not saying that. But see, this is a problem that impact poor Black kids and brown kids. It just don't be no rush from a whole bunch of people at all levels of government. Just don't be no rush. So I'm coming. I'm going to get to it. But please don't make me talk about it right now. Because I already, lose a friend every day. Or not a friend. I shouldn't say friends. I lose people that'll speak to me. Already. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Shalom, family.
What's going on? How you doing, bro?
Let me turn my phone down.
Been done over years.
Really?
You going off on yourself?
Really?
So, I've been listening. And with all due respect.
Hey, Craig, something's going on with your phone, man.
Oh, hold on. Can you hear me now? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, go ahead and try it.
Can you hear me?
Yep, let's try it.
Okay, so with all due respect to the family and all these things that we are seeing these people attempt and effectively put in place, back to what Tyrone said. The brother who called the last caller. Think it not strange. They are not about compromise. These people are intent on taking over. I saw this white guy the other day on he's a podcast, younger white guy. And I think he's affiliated with this whole movement that was behind getting the Supreme Court justice in. I forget his name too. I was looking him up while I was waiting. But this deep state, the real deep state, that got Trump in the office. When you consider the message behind the art of war, when you're at war, you don't compromise. You don't take prisoners. They do what you tell them to once you get power, or else you get rid of them. And this is what they're about doing. Now, I'm not saying that, it's going to be a cakewalk. And, it's true. We've been here. We were here before the majority of them came. And we were here before all of them came here, to be honest. But they're not concerned with that. They're trying to get rid of our history already. I mean, what they're doing is showing it to you right to your face. They ain't hiding nothing. And they got their front person out here, making it plain what their intentions are. They do not intend on having anybody run this country other than white men. This is what they believe the founders intended. They never intended for anybody else to have power here other than white men. And this is what they're trying to move back to. This is what this guy was saying. These people are studying this stuff. They have the reins of power now. Trump has said they don't intend on having voting again. He's telling us he don't intend. He wants to be the third term. If he don't get it, you have to believe they're going to try to put somebody else in there. Now, I recognize all these things, according to the way we see them now, with the Constitution in place, with all the processes that we currently have in place. But they are about removing all of that stuff, going back to a time where, I have to believe it was before this United States was even established. They want to be able to run this and everything else I mean, this is what they're saying, and so, in order for when we consider what we see happening, we have to ask ourselves: are we really willing to fight for it in a war if it comes down to that? Not just to consider if it's possible that a civil war. When they started the first civil war, they were intended to do this. They haven't left that thought. And so we have to really keep in mind that there are people behind the scenes who are in positions of power to try to get this thing where they want it. And they ain't going to relent. Again, the art of war is you don't compromise there. They ain't trying to compromise. They're trying to tell us, no, you're going to follow our religion or you're not going to be here. You're going to live according to our culture or you're not going to be here. I mean, think about it. If you were in power and that was your motive, and your objective, would you be compromising and allowing all these other people to bring in all this? No, you don't. And so this is what they're trying to do. We cannot be. He told us for the first term, and he's enacting these things. Don't think that just because he's saying it and we got all of these so-called policies in place that they're not going to be able to accomplish if they continue to move in the same vein that they have. What makes us think they won't continue to move people out with no due process, that they won't continue to take away the rights that, I mean, look at what it takes now for us to get an anti-lynching law. All of that stuff, if they take away what we call this Constitution, right? And these people who have been in place, these white men have been running this country since it was founded. They still have the most seats there. This is why it's so chaotic, so dysfunctional. But they don't care about that because it's their dysfunction. They don't want nobody else in those positions of those seats of power other than themselves. And when Obama got in there, it doubled their efforts. Let us not be unconscious about what we see happening. This is an attack on anybody. You cannot be you when you come here. So if you're not assimilating to who they are, they don't want you here.
All right, Craig.
Have as few of us here as possible.
Look, I got you.
I hear you. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
No. All right. Thank you, bro. I appreciate the comments.
Love family.
Yeah. Look, and
don't be blinded by the light. Don't be blinded by the light.
I got you.
Peace.
All right, peace, fam. Look, y'all, and I'm getting good questions on my text messages. What could MPS have done themselves with ESSER funding? That's the COVID money. Should we have upgraded athletic fields or dealt with lead remediation? Could you have used the money even in that way? We can talk about those things, but yeah, somebody else just said their child had been diagnosed with okay, I'll make that announcement about Mr. Gatlin. Wait. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. Dresden Gatlin. Someone sent me something that he passed away. He is the husband of Gerald Hyler. Gatlin was honored at the Capitol for Hometown Heroes. He did so much work in this community. This brother will be missed by a lot of people. Arrangements are forthcoming, so I will get that information so that I can do it in a much better fashion. All right, y'all, that's a wrap for my show for this week. Thank you all. Appreciate everything. Bros, appreciate you. Family, I will talk to y'all next week. I'll talk to y'all next week. Peace.